What is going on? What is going on?
Tell them run it on.
What is going on? What is going on? Everybody in the house, what is going on? Wake up in Cleveland every single morning.
I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check, no drip, this wet. Tell them run it on. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it on. I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check, no drip, this wet. Tell them run it on. I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check, no drip, this wet. Tell them run it on.
What is going on? What is going on, everybody? It is Wake Up in Cleveland on, what is it? What is today? Thursday, the 21st. Sorry for last week. Unfortunately, I was out of town. I was actually on a much needed vacation because, well, you know, people need vacations. Sometimes you just need to get away from the world. And I didn't even get away from the world. I've been literally running around with my head cut off. So it's been one of those few months that's just been nonstop. This is the first official week where I didn't do anything. Like, besides making YouTube content and IG content, which is it honestly feels like a full-time job, honestly. But it's so far so good. Let me make sure the audio's kicked in. Everything's good. Let's see what we got in the building. We got Philip 10 already. We got Ratbone. That's one of the mods. Thank you for hanging out today, pal. I know you work. Professor BX. That's one of my old friends. And who else we got in here so far? Who else we got in here? Darren Levine. Okay. So, and Richie Pittsburgh. Richie Pittsburgh. Okay. So let's see what we got going on today. Actually, right after this, within the next, 10, 15 minutes after we end the show, we'll have a new video that's going up. That video will be about the JMAZ VersaFlex. I know people have been waiting for that, so that's going to come out. What else do I have going on? I'm going to finish editing up the Carlos Entendido podcast, which should air on Friday So we got the JMAZ VersaFlex today and the DJ Carlo interview tomorrow. And there's just a lot of videos coming out. There's like a lot of videos that I need to just sit down and just knock out before people just start yelling at me. One of them is, which I'm not using today. Today I'm currently using Melon from StreamYards. StreamYards? Yeah, StreamYards. No, not StreamYards. Streamlabs. Don't want to mess it up. I'm currently using Melon. This was always been my go-to, and because I've been traveling, I took my YOLO box with me, and I just haven't kind of set it back up again. So today we're using YOLO box, and the reason that I was late, the actual reason that I was late getting on the show today, is super stupid. This guy ran out of batteries while I was gone. And it takes AAA batteries. I'm sorry, AAA batteries. I don't have AAA batteries just lying around. So I had to find AAA batteries. So I had to pull them out of another keyboard. But that's what made me late. I'm sorry. It happens. Today is Tech Thursday. We talk all things DJ related, tech related, DJ business related, a little bit of everything. And but mostly always DJ related, or selfishly something that I'm doing that may be related. Speaking of something that I'm doing, what is it? August 8th through the 10th, I will be in Atlantic City. For the DJ Expo. Round of applause. Let's see. Do I have applause here? This is the first time I will be at Expo, and it may be my last time at Expo, but we'll see. But it will be my first time. I've never been on the East Coast for any events yet, so I just figured I'm going to make it a point to get there. So if you're going to be at the expo, we'll be able to meet up, all you East Coast people. It's half sponsored, half sponsored. My room and board are being sponsored by my good friends at Direct Music Services, DMS for short. They're taking care of my room and board, so that was a big deal. So I'm very happy. I want to thank them for supporting and sponsoring these efforts, and I will see everybody that week. I'm on 2 panels, maybe 3. I feel like there's 3, but definitely 2. I'm going to be on the Tweak Music Tips panel. I don't know what we're talking about, so don't even ask, but I'm going to be on the panel. And I'm going to be on the DJ Icon. DJ Icon has a panel, and I'm going to be on his panel also. I think I'm going to be on one more. I don't even know. I'm going to be somewhere. Somewhere special, I guess. But it'll be good to be there. Okay. All right, let's see here. Are you... All right, let's see here. What do we got here? Philip Tan says, do you know if Beyond the Music panel will be on YouTube in the future? Well, in all honesty, I just asked them like 2 days ago to give me at least my panel session because I want it for myself. I don't care if it's on YouTube or not. Selfishly, I want it. I literally ran a panel. I moderated a panel. That's good promo. I need it. But they said it's coming. I don't know if they're going to put the whole thing on YouTube. In all honesty, I wouldn't if I were Beyond the Music. I would put clips up just like they've been doing, but I wouldn't put the whole thing on YouTube. You want to build the conference up. So if you put everything on YouTube, people will just say, "Oh, I'll just sit around and wait." Yes, there are going to be some people that just want to go because of the name power that's going to be there. I mean, they got huge DJs and influencers and producers. So I understand some people that are going to want to just go for that, but in general, people want the knowledge more than anything, and I think they'd be giving it away, even if it is, I don't know. That's just my opinion. Tell me what you guys think. Okay, let's see here. DJ Carlo is a cool guy. Actually, yes, he is. We were at Sweetwater, which is another video that I got to put out. Maybe I'll put that out next week. But we were at Sweetwater for their Gear Fest a few weeks ago now. What is it, the 21st? So that would have been, almost a month ago. And it's the first time I actually met DJ Carlo. So I was actually very impressed by him. He's a good guy. And, obviously, you just never know, from the limited time. But we were there for a few days, and I think I kind of got to know him. And he's a good guy. Some people may or may not agree, but that is okay. He is a good guy. Okay, let's go back up here and let's see what we got going on here. Richie Pittsburgh says, what does he say? I need a new DJ setup. I'm a turntablist who sold my 1200s. No controller or CD decks are pinpoint accurate when I'm scratching. Well, that's not necessarily true. I would say that the Rev7 with their scratch feature, which you hit the scratch and they have samples downloaded to the module, are pretty much pinpoint accurate. If you're just trying to DJ with DVS, it's really close, but there's always that. There is a small level of accuracy on regular vinyl that you can't necessarily get from DVS, but it comes pretty close. A lot of reasons that people don't feel that it's accurate enough is because of the computers they use. Maybe they're slower. Maybe your buffer is set too high, and now you don't have that. But if you can drop it down to the lowest setting, you'll feel a lot better. But yes, you're correct. Vinyl is definitely going to be analog, so it's perfectly accurate. But the Rev7 is probably the closest that it comes to it because it's the only one with a scratch module built into it, which is built into the ROM, not the software, not the computer software. So it's damn near in sync. Bye. Just kidding. Okay. Let's see here. All right, let's drop down. Oh, some people, actually, before we get into that, let's see what we got going on here. Thimber Silwain, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Okay, let's. This is the only problem with Melon. Every time I use Melon, I run into this one little issue that drives me nuts, and that is when the comments come too fast, it tries to reset itself, and then I lose comments. Okay. Lionel says, grabbed a MacBook 14 and kind of regret it. It's not way faster than my souped up ThinkPad, and it's heavy ASF. Would a MacBook M1 Air work well? I'm going to be at the Expo since I live down the road at my first and last. Hey, I'm glad. I hope to see you, Lionel. And why didn't his comment actually post? Am I frozen? Okay. That was weird. Let's try that one more time. Okay. I might have been frozen. I might not have been. I have no idea. I think I was frozen. We're talking about the MacBook 14. Lionel says he bought it and kind of regrets it. It's not faster than my souped up ThinkPad and it's heavy. Would an M1 Air work well? First of all, the MacBook Pro 14 is absolutely amazing. It's the best computer that they've come out with in a long, long time. The best computer, the single best computer. However, one of the things that I think people are confused about is the power. Is the power of the M114. People think that just because it's more powerful, the software itself is going to be like the DJ software is going to be more powerful. It's going to be faster. It's going to be better. But a lot of these things are not optimized for the M1. Serato is, no matter what they say, it's not optimized for the M1. So the MacBook 14 is more for creatives. Yes, DJs use them, and DJs, I got one right here. Okay, it's right here. DJs use them, DJs appreciate them. But in general, besides the fan cooling of a 14 or a 16, you're not really going to see any power change from moving to an M1 Air. That's just facts, because it doesn't require that much power. Now, look, I use Final Cut and Motion and Photoshop and multiple tabs and anything and everything. I use multiple cameras. The things like this are what are important to me, and the power there is where I see most of the power. I used to edit all my videos in 1080p because my MacBook 16 would buffer, would stutter. And this was the Intel MacBook 16 Core i9, but it would stutter and give me problems. I edit all my videos in 4K and it never stutters. So the power, the power doesn't translate one for one for a software, for a DJ software, and like a video editing software. There's things built into this that are designed for creators. So an M1 Air would be just as fine. The only issue is heat dissipation. That's the big issue. Can you DJ out in the sun, out and about, out in the humid summers, and it not, freeze up on you? That's the issue with MacBook Airs. From what I understand, the new MacBook Pro 13, which is not even new, it's just a rebadge, with the processor that probably shouldn't be in the chassis, is that it does get super, super hot. I would not recommend anybody buy a MacBook Pro 13 with the M2 processor. I would say stay the hell away from it. Stick with the M1s, buy a refurb. The M1s are just better. They're optimized better. I assume that once the M2s come to the 14s and the 16s, they're going to have a slightly, the 16, you're not going to see any issue. That thing has huge fans and it's got plenty of space. The 14, I went with the M1 10 core versus the M1 Max because of heat issues. And I didn't see much of a difference in, what the M1 Max did besides what the M1 Pro did. So I would say stick with the M1 Pro, either the 8 core or the 10 core. I think I went with the 10 core because that was the only chip that you could get 32 gigs of RAM. I don't think you could get it with the 8 core. And it had a larger, I forget. Anyway, that's my computer. Absolutely love it. And it's the best thing I've bought in a long, long time. Seriously questioned it because I was rocking with, don't try to make sweeping things. I was rocking with the XMG and, still love the XMG. Still love it. Still have it. Haven't sold it or anything like that. For one, I need to wait and see. It's been hot, but I haven't done a real big test to it. I know that I've rocked my XMG in Palm Springs at 110 degrees, 114 degrees under an umbrella, but didn't freeze up at all. I know that on the XMG. I have not confirmed that on the M1 Air or MacBook Pro. So we'll see. I have a few tests to do. Okay. All right. Question. Nope. I can drop down. Sweet. DJ G5 in the building. What's going on? DJ ML says, any idea when DGX will release the schedule for their seminars? This is my first show, so I'm not sure how they usually work. I'm actually not sure either. I just know that I'm on one session on Wednesday. I'm on a session on Tuesday and a session on Wednesday at around like 1:30. So that's all I know. I have no idea. I mean, you would think that they would release it soon, but like even with Beyond the Music, like I didn't get my session release until like literally 2 days before. So who knows? Okay. I hope someone will show how good the new Rev7 support is in Algoriddim DJ Pro. Well, two things. One, if you have hopefully you have a Rev7. If you don't, Algoriddim Pro, it works as good so far in my initial testing, which is very, very short. I'm talking like maybe a half hour or so. It works really well. It works really, really well. I'm trying to think, is there anything that's on here that that it's not mapped appropriately? Well, the one thing that it isn't mapped, at least I didn't see that it was mapped in my initial testing, was the sampler knob. Because I was running and hit the sampler, and my God, were those samples loud. So, and I tried to turn the sample knob and it didn't. Every so often with any type of mapping, you have to like roll it forward, roll it back, and then it finally catches. It didn't do that on this one. So maybe it's just me. Maybe I missed it. It could be somewhere. But yeah, the sample knob is the only thing that I noticed that wasn't mapped on mine. One of the cool things that I do like is because Pioneer still has their app, you can still put your logo in. Because that was one of my things. That's like one of my issues with using some sort of software that's not your native software, is because some of the things like the waveforms or your logo disappear. Now you just have this ugly blank space. Like I didn't want that. My logo is still there. So in all honesty, ever since I shot the video and ever since I've been using the Rev, I don't use the waveforms. I only use my logo. It's the only thing that's in the display. So for me, I don't really care that there are no waveforms or anything like that. I do, however, miss having the BPMs on the display, because there was a couple of things that even with your logo, you have your logo, and you can choose to have your BPM display, your pitch, what your pitch is set at, +8, +16, +50, and then your timer. you're either time remaining or time moving forward on the song. So little things like that, the little visual reference really help because, you're looking at the jogs. So it makes sense. You can kind of see everything you have there. Otherwise, if you want a quick BPM reference, now you get to look at the screen, which isn't a problem, but I don't have my jogs in the huge setting. So, but I will say, and I've been saying it. I mean, I haven't tried it on the iPad yet. This is just off my MacBook. But so far, it's been pretty dead on. No, I didn't have any issues with it. The thing that I love is that when you start up DJ, it's like 3 seconds, and you're DJing. You're actually DJing. But in Serato, when you boot up Serato, it's probably 10, 15, 20 seconds that you have to wait for it to kick in. So, so far so good. And one of the good things about at least the MacBook version of it, or I guess the PC version of it, is that if you're like, I'm a Serato user, so all my Serato, all my cue points, everything that's in there, all my crates are in Serato. But the good thing is DJ takes that database. So you have access to all of your crates that are in Serato. So it's not like you're starting over, because that was my biggest fear. I didn't want to start over. But it works really well. Not the same on the iPad version or the iOS version. Software the same, but just your catalog is not the same. There's more work involved to get your catalog over than if you were using just, a MacBook one-to-one. So far, so good. So far, so good. What I really do like is that the stems are allocated to the sample bank. Sample bank? Is that what they call it? I always forget what they call it. Scratch bank. Thank you, Terry. You're welcome. See, like I said, I don't really need you guys here. I can talk to myself. The stems are on the scratch bank button. Obviously, there is no scratch bank on DJ. Which I kind of do miss having the scratch bank there. I'm not going to lie to you. It's kind of an important thing, but neither here nor there. So once you hit the scratch bank, you can use those top buttons on the top panel to initiate your isolations, which is very, very cool. I'm a big fan, and obviously your effects, your drop, your duck down, and your Pioneer effects, and all those things still work properly. I'm looking over here because that's where my Rev7 is. So I keep looking over there, getting a reference. It's good. I have no issues with it so far. No issues. Okay. Has anybody else had issues logging into Yellow Duck? Maestro, I have, because I haven't used Yellow Duck in like a year and a half. Why are you still on Yellow Duck? Put it in the chat. I need to know why you're still on Yellow Duck. There's so many other options now. Why are you still on Yellow Duck? Okay. All right, let's see here. Oh, look, Professor BX said it so succinctly. Thank you, Professor BX. I hadn't gotten down to your comment yet. All right, let's see. Megawatt the DJ in the building. What's going on? The only issue I have on my M1 is occasionally the beat grid slow down and speed up, but doesn't affect it. Yeah, that's a Serato thing. That is not a M1 thing. So Serato needs to optimize. DJ E Swift in the building. Found the Rev7. Thank you. Okay, let's see here. I'm trying to speed up here. Ratbone said I did an outdoor gig, direct sunlight for 4 hours. It was 95 and had no problem with my MacBook, but my iPad overheated. So that is actually a very good point, and something that I have had in the back of my mind, because the one thing that iPhones and iPads are totally susceptible to is the heat sensor that's in the actual devices. If you've ever left like your phone in your car, maybe it's on your dash or it's on your console and the sun's hitting, you go to turn on your phone and it's like, error, warning, will not turn back on until the heat drops down. Heat issue, heat issue. The same thing applies to the iPad. And there is no cooling on the iPad. So that is really my biggest concern with using an iPad, is just like kind of like my all around go-to, is you're kind of falling back into the line of like the Intel MacBooks. Now, they're going to run better, but no cooling. So you're going to run into that in some cases. I totally agree. Okay. All right. I stream on Twitch, but use Yellow Duck with the video loop to tell my Instagram followers I'm on Twitch. Walk away. Walk away. Just walk away. Look, I'm gonna give you my two cents on Instagram. Okay. First off, there are other ways to notify your people that you're on. Like there are tons of people that have a video. So you know that on Instagram you can actually run a video from your live. Like you can just turn it on. And it will display on there. But let's say you don't have that. You going live, you don't necessarily need to show people the actual stream. Like you could literally just turn your phone on. Like I have people that turn their phone on and it points to a sign that says, hey, I'm live right now. You know, I mean, look, IG does not want you streaming. Okay. And unless you want to be potentially banned, I would just stay away. That's just my opinion on it. Yeah. At some point, you have to get into a mindset of, I got to put all of my eggs into building a new community on Twitch or wherever you DJ at. Because you're not really building a community if you're asking people to come from IG or letting them know, hey, I'm on. Your community would know if you were consistently on. You get what I'm saying? So I think instead of trying to work that out, focus, because it doesn't help you. It doesn't help you. You know, it's the same thing as like when people were like, hey, I want to stream to Facebook. You don't want to stream to Facebook because it's Facebook. You want to stream to Facebook because that's where the people are. And it looks like you have all these it looks like you have all of these eyes on you, but it's Facebook. So they're not really fans. You know, they're just people that happen to check you out for a second, but you want to build a community. So anyway, you can literally do a tiny umbrella. I'm not put a tiny umbrella. It's not going to happen. Okay. I don't stream on IG. If you don't stream on IG, what do you need Yellow Duck for? It says, I stream on Twitch, but use Yellow Duck with the video loop to tell my IG. You don't need Yellow Duck for a video loop. You can literally just put it on your phone and run the video loop when you go live. You don't need Yellow Duck for that. Okay. Do you have a chance to hear the new JBL sub SRX 928? I have not. What's your take on baseball speakers? They are amazingly loud. And for the size, they are pretty damn impressive. Like their small little 12-inch speaker is one of the best speakers I've ever heard. It's really impressive, and I'm trying to get some so I can test them out fully. But I have not tried the 928s, but you know, if they're anything like the 828s, they're going to sound amazing. I just wish JBL could find a way to make their cabinets a little smaller, because they're big and they're heavy, which is why I don't use my 828 all that much. Master GNL in the building. What's going on? Good to see you. Oh, here comes Mixmaster breaking it down, telling everybody all the things I do wrong. Says, DJ takes Serato crates from tracks on the internal drive, not if tracks are externally stored, and you might experience Q loop shifts due to MP3 encoder shifts. Sure, that is definitely something that people should know if they're using externals. I do not use externals because I can't stand external drives while you DJ. So I am not that guy. And I will tell everybody, if they want to hear me, that external drives are the devil. Now, you do what you want. But I will never go back to external drives. I don't care how many files I have. That'll never happen. Okay. Dustin Master says, are you noticing any no driver audio with the Rev7? I'm running a Windows laptop. The driver issue is not consistent. Fairly confident Pioneer needs to send a firmware update. Okay, so I have not. And it's weird that some people get it and some people don't, because my buddy had the same issue for a while, and he was on a Mac. It gave the no audio driver. Then he'd have to uninstall and reinstall, and it worked out just fine. So I'm not really sure why some people get it and why others don't. I don't have that issue with mine. I haven't experienced no audio driver, like, at all. But, you know, your mileage may vary. Okay. All right, let's see here. Prion Johnny in the building. Prion, as I said in my video, because I don't know how to pronounce Prion. In the building. What's going on, fam? Good to see you. And I will see Prion at DJ Expo also. Carlo Special says, do you know how to record streaming like Tidal but on Record Box? Well, streaming in Tidal but on Record Box. Sounds like you're doing something illegal. Look, I mean, there's tons of ways to get your stream. You can pull your audio from OBS and record that. I am not sure, because on Serato it has the ability to use basically reroute the audio via software hack, and then you can run that into like Ableton Live. Record Box does not have that ability. So you probably have to use one of the mini hack softwares that can pull it in. I can't think of them right now. I'm sorry. I'm brain dead. But I'm sure somebody in the chat can, especially Professor BX. I'm sure he knows. Okay. Let's see. Fendo says, I have a question. I'm in a 1-1 decision between getting a Rain 12 with the 72 MK2s or the Rain 1. Want to get the feel of turntables without getting turntables. Well, you've already answered your question, Fendo. If you want to get the feel of turntables without getting turntables because you don't want the size, you don't want the weight, you don't want the extra pieces, then you get the Rain 1. Now, there's a lot of things that you're not going to see on the Rain 1 that are on like the Rain 72. As far as the 12s are concerned, I mean, they're smaller versions of the 12. So I think you're fine on that. But the actual mixer on the Rain 1, if you prefer or like any of the things that the Rain 72 have, for instance, internal effects, screen, better display, I should say, you're gonna want the mixer. But the convenience is the Rain 1. Strangely enough, and this is a funny thing about what we were talking about with Algoriddim DJ. So I was going to use Algoriddim DJ on Saturday. I had a wedding. I was doing the after hour spot, so I didn't really need to have anything but the controller. And I grabbed my record box version of my DDJ 1000 because I knew it worked with DJ. I didn't have time to plug it in beforehand. I brought the Rain 1 also because at the time, the Rev7 didn't work with Algoriddim DJ. I plugged in the 1000, and of course, no audio driver was there, and because I hadn't installed the audio driver, and it didn't work, and I didn't have time to mess with it. So I grabbed the Rain 1 and plugged it in. Everything worked, but I wasn't comfortable just because of the mic routing and all that stuff. I wanted to make sure, but I didn't have time to do a serious test because there was a band going on before me, so I just couldn't do it. Anyway, I ended up using Serato and the Rain 1 because of it. My Rev7 was on a truck being transported back from the wedding I did a few weeks ago. Okay. So it would have been nice if I had that Algoriddim Dj then. Okay. All right, let's see what we got here. BW says, missed you, man. Oh, thanks, man. I missed you too. Okay. VB cables for Windows. Don't know. Oh, there you go. VB cables for Windows. Says Daddy Doe. Rev7. Drivers for screen. There we go. Okay. What do we got here? Professor BX, I'm trying to make CT understand that it's wise to keep your tracks on a separate folder, but it doesn't land. By the way, had two weird things testing the Rev7. Okay, look. Mixmaster, I'm going to say this to you. You will never, ever convince me to use an external drive while DJing. Never going to happen. I don't care what you say. I don't care if you tell me that going external will make me a better DJ and I'll have the hands of DJ Qbert, and the skills of DJ Scratch Bastard. You will never see me with an external drive. Ever. It's not going to happen. I've had too many bad experiences with external drives. It will never happen ever again. Sorry. I need to count on everything that I got going on. And I don't want some stupid person pulling my cord out or something happening where I lose it and I just, nope, not going to happen. Not going to happen. Good day, sir. DJ Trauma in the building. Carlos Trauma, what's going on, man? Good to see you. I wish gear makers would have all their gear class compliant audio. Most of the new gear, and I know that Professor BX did tell you that the Rev7 is class compliant, but most new gear that has been coming out lately is class compliant across the board. So I believe that we're kind of done with that whole non-class compliant stuff. At least for the flagship companies out there. Okay. Externals for life. Okay. I use an SD card for on Johnny. Smaller and louder cabinets are needed for the JBL. Okay, so let's drop down. What time is it? Today we are actually going to end. We're going to end today at a reasonable time. I got stuff to do. I got videos to release, and I have testing to do. So, Algoriddim DJ testing, more testing. Although I do like testing software in my studio. I don't know. For some reason, I feel like you miss things that aren't necessarily in like a real DJ session. Because when you're DJing like a party or whatever, there are things that pop up, things that happen, and you have to adjust quickly to them. And you don't have that problem when you're working, in your studio. Everything's really, really simple. I will say this though. The only thing about DJ that's very weird is, and most people won't use it, but the keyboard shortcuts. Like, I don't use my keyboard shortcuts a lot in Serato, but there's like 7 buttons that I consistently use my keyboard shortcuts to. By default, whatever the reason. One of them is U and J. Those two are sensors, and sometimes if you can't, you're using a controller that doesn't have the sensor, or you're using actual turntables in a mixer that don't necessarily have the sensor button. U and J are buttons that I will use on the regular. That's the sensor button. U for left, J for right. And sometimes I will use the cue points on the top, you know, the 1 through 10, 1 through 0, I guess you'd have to say. So those are my go-tos. What else will I use? What else is another thing that I use? Maybe the W and the S, the starts. And then obviously I usually load all my stuff from shift. You know, the shift left and shift right. Load the decks. So those are my go-tos. Algoriddim DJ has a weird way of button placement, button position. So the cue points, and of course, I'm not that I'm new here, but like nothing is working properly. So let's see if this works. No, it does not. Why isn't my overhead turning on? It's on. Are we not plugged in? Are we not plugged in? Oh, okay. Gotcha. Here we go. Hold on. If this works. Okay. Oh, it's all jacked up. All right. Well, see, because you can see my display, that means I'm on the wrong setting. That explains a lot. Let me see if I can flip it. Okay, there we go. All right. You're not going to adjust for me? You're not going to adjust for me, baby? Come on, adjust. There we go. Okay. So, on, which is very weird, but on the DJ, you have your cue points, and your 1 and 2 and 3, those aren't your cue points. Your cue points are this row right here, this QWERTY board here. So it goes like this: cue point 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5. And then on the right side, what do you think would make sense on the right side of the keyboard? Well, in my mind, I would go. Let's say Y is the cue point 1. I would say cue point 1 on the right side, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right? That's not how it works. That is not how it works on Algoriddim. Algoriddim, the cue points are backwards. Cue point 1 would be this one. 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't understand. I don't understand. That's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. The weirdest thing. Anyway, little things like that always scare me when I see things like that, because I'm like, I don't understand. Like, who would think that makes sense? It starts to have me questioning if a DJ company is really, you know, what they're supposed to be. Okay. All right, let's go back up and see how many people were talking trash about my non-hard drive thing. All right. What standalone DJ controller would you recommend using outside in the summer heat? They're all the same. I mean, in general, I haven't had any problems with any controllers in the heat. That hasn't been the issue. It's always been the computer, never really the controller. So, and I've used 1000s. I've used CDJs, S11s. I used a Rain 1, and I used a Rain 1 in the desert. That was about 112 degrees. I've used Denning gear. I haven't had an issue with any control. Like, I haven't had a controller fail on me due to heat yet. I've had computers fail, not controllers. Okay. You did say standalone, not standalone. Standalone. I mean, any of them would work. I mean, I've used the Denon Prime Go out in super heat. Didn't have an issue. When my computer was failing, my Denon Prime Go actually worked. So any of those things you'd be fine with. You'd be fine with. You know, in my opinion. Okay. I'm not talking external drive. I am not Mixmaster GNL. I am not partitioning my computer for DJing. No. No. Now, you're free to do whatever you want. I respect your decision. I do. But that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I'm just a guy then. That's just a bad guy. I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. Nope. I mean, in all honesty, it's not like the music folder is all that difficult. Like if you're on a Mac, you can literally just copy the music folder to anybody else's computer and it will run just like it always has. But I understand what you're saying. I respect what you're saying. I'm not listening. All right, DJ Otto says, what's up? Still deciding which one to choose, the S11 or the 72, the Rain 72. You know how I feel. I'm an S11 fan. Nothing wrong with the Rain 72, but I'm an S11 fan. Now, everybody's different. Now, one man's love for S11 is another man's hate for S11. So you just gotta test them if you're on the fence. I've only known though one person. No, I don't know one person. I was gonna say I've actually only known one person that it's actually chosen the Rain 72 over the S11, but they didn't actually choose the Rain 72. They chose the Rain 70 over the 72, but the only reason why they chose the Rain 72 over the 70, reverse that, is because they thought that because the Rain 72 is more expensive, it equals a better mixer. To each their own. So, but I don't know anybody that's used both mixers and opted for the Rain 72. I don't know one person, unless they're sponsored. And sorry, just facts. Okay. Okay. Good afternoon. Rob A in the building. What's going on? DJ Crowbra in the building. DJ Nephew Washington in the building. Good to see you guys. All right. Let's see here. Okay. DJ Omai says I want to. Come on. Here we go. I use the Rain 70, and when I play a track on the left deck, the low EQ drops to 0 at the 12 o'clock position. Same with the filter, it fluctuates. Is it a knob connection issue, like a solder connection? When I play a track on the left deck, the low EQ drops to 0. So I assume the low EQ turns off. So it goes like full kill is kind of what I'm hearing at the 12 o'clock position. Same with the filter. Curious, is are the filter knob and the low EQ problem on both sides on the same channel, or are they on different sides? But if it drops on its own, I'm definitely assuming that it's some sort of a hardware issue. Maybe they are using a German keyboard. Oh, good point. You could be right. Good point. Can you remap them? Yes, you can remap them. Although I think that I know people don't like this. Rekordbox did something smart, okay? Not to say that Rekordbox doesn't do smart things, but Rekordbox did something very, very smart. And in their keyboard layout, they have the Rekordbox keyboard layout, and then they have, what do they call it? There's a word that they used, but it's basically stating the most common layout. And the common layout is actually the Serato layout. So if you're using Rekordbox, you can flip to that layout and then you're good to go. I wish that Algoriddim would do something like that. And I think that they would get more people interested, because a lot of people use the keyboard. So I'm not talking about keyboard DJing. I'm just talking about like hotkeys and running samplers, and all of these things are on the keyboard. So I think they would definitely. I can remap them. I don't want to. And there might be a remapping out there that I can import. I don't know. Okay. All right. Let's see here. IT guys blocked Twitch on our network, so it's YouTube or nothing. Oh, damn. Okay. They blocked it all for you, Yoshi. They said, why we're seeing an uptick in data packets. They're all coming from Twitch, and they're all coming from one user. Okay. All right. Do you have or have you used a DBX crossover on speakers or subs? Yes, I have. They're amazing. I have been wanting to run one on my powered system just to kind of see if there's a difference. But yeah, every one of my passive speaker systems all use DBS DriveRacks. Every one of them. Every one of them. DriveRacks are some of the best things on the planet, in my opinion. Come on, stop. I quit with the guesswork. I only use controllers. Easier and faster plug and play options for me. I'm done messing with separate DJ equipment. Okay, I get that. I will say this though. Every time I'm on a controller, it's fine. But if I have the option, if I don't have to set up my own gear or it's brought to me, I'm probably asking for, an S11, S9, S7 with a couple of turntables at minimum, with some CDJs, 2000s or 3000s, preferably 3000s. 3000s are really, really good. And I'm very, very much happy. So it just depends. Okay. Okay, let's see here. All right, we're going to drop down and oh man. See, Prion, you don't know this because you're not a mobile guy, but if you want to improve your sound quality like that without doing anything but plugging in a DriveRack and telling it which speakers you use, you're missing out. You're missing out. They're one of those like people know about them, but not a lot of people use them. So it is whatever. How often do you use sampler for music versus sound effects? I don't use my sampler. I rarely use it. I don't even use it to put my name in. And then people, they always throwing their names in. Like I barely use my sampler at all. So it would definitely be effects over the sampler for me. Okay. All right. Looking at some of the answers here. All right. Daddy Does is my internal library is on external drive, and I have multiple clone drives. Anything goes down, I grab. It's resetting, but I'm assuming he's saying I just grab my other drives. Yeah, you don't need to do. Let me go back up here. Okay. I'm sorry you can't figure out how to make your storage work. That's funny. Okay. My Denon Prime Go did not work in Texas heat. Song started to stutter bad. At 105, I had to play the Bride song off my phone. Well, look, I'm not saying everything's perfect. I'm just saying that I ran it at 100 out here in California and didn't have an issue. And I was in the dead of sun. So I can't answer, what the reason that it happened. Rev1 only works with DJ Lite for some reason. Pretty sure I'm doing something wrong. I don't believe Rev1. I believe you can use your standard. You cannot. Okay. People that use Serato, and say you get the Rev1, and you get Serato DJ Lite with it, you can use Serato DJ Pro with any of them. Okay? You can use it with any of them. The problem is, you need to have the actual official Pro version that you purchase, not the one that comes with, like, you know, your Rev7 or your Rain 1. You got to be able to have that. It won't work without it. You can't just use, because you have Serato DJ Pro on your computer, you can't just use it. Do you like the Bose L1 Pro 16? Haven't used it. I do like the L1 Pro 32 though. It's a very, very good system here. Okay. There was something about people talking about me, and I can't find it. I'm trying to find it. So let's go back up here. I still back up my computer, people. People are asking how I back up. I still back up the same way. I use Super Duper. I know Mixmaster uses Carbon Copy. I use Super Duper. Same stuff. And I back it up over that. I'm sorry, the thing is not, it keeps dropping down here. There we go. Let's see if we can do this. And I quit guesswork. All right, there's done. All right, do not reset yourself. Do not reset yourself. All right, let's see here. Mixmaster says, tracks on separate volume that can be on your internal and in APF, even in dynamic allocations. That way you can use a backup of that partition on external drive with the same name as a partition and keep spinning. File path remains the same. I mean, I guess. I'm not saying that what you're saying is definitely not a solution, but I'm also saying that I can also just boot up my iTunes, holding down Option, and then choose the folder that I'm currently using on my external, and everything works just fine also. So that's how I back up. For me, I don't know anything about corruption or anything like that that's going on. I just know that if I just move my music folder over to an external hard drive, and I hold down Option as I boot up iTunes, choose that folder now that's on my external, and then open up Serato, all my stuff remains intact. At least it has in the past. You know, maybe something's changed. Okay. All right. It's all about preference. I prefer the over the Pioneer mixers. Okay, I get that. All right, let's. Of course, but a backup does not help when they're on a gig away from their backup. Well, no, it should help, because you should have your backup hard drive in your bag. In fact, you should probably have two. You should always have backups. You should always bring a backup with you. So, yes. Okay. Okay, don't mess with Mixmaster. He'll start coming after you. All right. How often do you sound? Okay, good. Am I up to speed now? Okay. Do you bring backup equipment when you are testing? Yes, every time. Every time, nephew. Because that would be stupid. So yes, I definitely bring backup hardware. For instance, like when I brought the Pioneer, I had the Rain 1 in the truck, and then I just went out and grabbed it. Typically speaking, I mean, for the most part, like even when I was testing the S5, which we should probably talk about, because I've been seeing a lot of strange hate. Not for me, but we'll talk about it. When I brought that in the LC6000s, I always brought, a Rain 1 or a Rev7 with me, just in case. And anytime I'm doing events, my Denon Prime Go is always in the truck. always in the truck. I don't necessarily bring it out with me and set it up. I'm not that guy, but it's always in the truck with me. DJ6 says, does the pod mic require a lot of power? Mine is plugged directly into the S7, and I feel like I have to really talk close to it. Yes, it does. Not a lot of power, but a lot of these types of microphones, like the pod mic, require you to crank it up, or you have to run it into like a cloud lifter. And they make battery-free cloud lifters that will just increase your gain that you can use also. But yeah, it does require more power than your average SM58. Facts. There is, let's see, you're using the S7. Does the S7 have a attenuator on it, Professor BX? I can't remember. Put it in the chat if it does. Okay. DJ Pinky in the building. What's going on, girl? Good to see you. Please get Rain to do a firmware update on the 62 so it's not just an expensive paperweight. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. 62 is done. Move on. Move on, Yoshi. Move on. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I'm just going to leave it at that. Time to go. Okay. All right. So it looks like Professor BX says yes. So on the back, there's a little knob. And on that knob, it's a little attenuator volume. It's basically a gain knob. Crank the gain knob up, and then your pod mic should work just fine. You can look. Everybody in this stream can be with Yoshi. They're not gonna update the 62. They're not putting new firmware in. They're done. They're moving on. Let it go. Let it go. You guys can all be with Yoshi. You can go and write up a petition and get all that stuff, and it's still going to be sitting there. Layman Lee in the building. Yeah, don't mess with Mixmaster. Look, Mixmaster and I just have a difference of opinion. And I have taken a lot, and I mean a lot, of his recommendations. Don't let him make it seem like I'm just hating. I'm not hating. I've taken a lot of recommendations. I know I now have a folder, broken out with just music, and everything goes into my music folder. Like, I've used a lot of his recommendations, except for this one. Except for this one. No more partitioning. No, it's in the utility. Okay, gotcha. So it's in the utility. So there should be a mic attenuator in the utility, which is the S7. Let me see if it's in there. S7. Oh, I did not install the S7 utility on this new computer. Okay, so I won't be testing. Sorry. All right. Let's see here in music petition. You're better off going to Guitar Center and getting like $350 for it. Okay. Curious to know your opinion, says DJ Rohan, on limited edition Technics 1200s. Will you be investing in a pair? Is it an investment if it's a limited run or has the ship sailed? That's a very good question. That's a very, very good question. I'm not really sure I have an answer for you. I mean, the very principle of a limited edition should mean that you're able to, resell them for at least what you paid for them and maybe even more. I mean, there was a point in time where Technics 1200s you could literally buy on Craigslist. And I'm not talking about like decades ago. I'm talking about like maybe 10 years ago. Maybe a little longer, maybe 20 years ago, like right around the early 2000s, like 2006 to 8. You could get some Techniques off Craigslist for like $250, like no lie, $250, and you had basically, maybe 400 or 500, you'd get a full set. I bought my MK5Gs off of Craigslist for I believe I paid $350 for both of them. I bought it from a guy who had no idea what it was. So I believe that, but then it changed. It changed and people started getting back into turntables and, Serato vinyl and everything. And all of a sudden they jumped back up again. Now you can't buy any turntables for like under, $500 to $700 a piece. That's just where we are. So in general, Anonymous Gifter gives out a 5-piece community sub. Thank you so much, Anonymous Gifter. That's very nice of you. And they really meant it because it's an anonymous gifter. Maze Master GNL with the 100 bits. John P with the resub. Anonymous Gifter with another sub. DJ Pinky giving out a sub. DJ Philip 10 about an hour ago, but that's okay. Gave out the 100 bits. Reverend Funktology gives out 200 bits. Tuna Arena with the 300 bits. Thank you so much, guys. Please keep it up. Again, all of this money that you see coming through literally helps my trips. So the DJ Expo, that's where this money's going. All this money's going towards the DJ Expo, because I did have to book my own flights. So got to pay for it somehow, right? Got to pay for it somehow. So all of these things definitely help the cause, and I appreciate you all. Ed Lova with the resub. J Styles Sounds with the 200 bits. Thank you so much. Appreciate you all. Let me give you a. That's for Anonymous DJ, Anonymous Gifter. Priyan Johnny with the 100 bits. Whoa, baller. PJ never gives out. He's balling today. But back to DJ Blades with the 100 bits. But back to what we were talking about with the what were we talking about? Oh, with the 1200s. So in general, I think that any type of limited edition are going to have a higher resale value. I don't think the chips sell. I think there's a lot of people out there that, that just love turntables. Now, I will say that I'm not sure what the demand is, because even with like the MK7s, it didn't feel like the demand was super high, but there's still a huge thing. It says Anonymous Gifter in my activity feed. That's what it says. Yoshi, yes, I am going to Expo. Come up north. I can barely get to Expo. All right. Well, let's see here. Those were the days, Pinky. Those were the days. Oh, man. What a great time. What a great time to be alive. I literally built my company on Craigslist turntables. Literally. Had to buy the mixers, which were, Rain 57s at the time when we started the company. But, yeah. Good times. Good times. All right. Let's see what we got here. Professor BX with the 300 bits. Anonymous Gifter with another 5-piece. Who is this Anonymous Gifter? Thank you so much, fam. Appreciate you. I hope to see you at DJ Expo. So for the record, in case anybody was counting, Anonymous Gifter has given out 11 subs in the past 5 minutes. And we appreciate every sub. Every sub. It's Kova. We know it ain't Kova. Kova is picking me up. Kova is picking me up from the airport on that Monday for DJ Expo. And I thought that was even extreme, because at first he was like, don't show up at my place too early, because I'm taking the red eye in, so I'm already going to be exhausted. He's like, don't show up at my place too early. And then as I told him what time my flight get, and he goes, okay, just call me, I'll pick you up. I'm like, really? The dates of the expo are August 9th through 11th, or 8th through 10. Let's see here. Anonymous Gifter with another sub. That's 12 subs for Anonymous Gifter. Okay, let's see what we got here. Yeah, it is the 8th through the 10th. I'm going to be there on the 8th, the 9th, and on the 10th. But I leave earlier because the only flights out of Atlantic City are at 4:15. Well, that's at least when my particular bus, because we're taking a bus to PA. Don't ask me why, but that's at 4:15. So I'll be there up until around 3 o'clock, 3:30, depending on how close, the bus depot is to take me to the airport. So we'll see. Okay. All right. Let's see. Mike Beats in the building. What's going on, fam? Good to see you. Anonymous gifter with another sub. That's 14. If my math is right, I think that's 14. At least 13. Whoever you are, we literally appreciate everything you've done today. So thank you so much. Honestly. Okay. And by the way, everybody out there, thank Anonymous Gifter for your subs, because I guarantee you that some of you did not have subs before and now you do. After hours during Expo, will you be joining me on Boardwalk for some saber spinning? For a moment, I'm like, do you want to go walk on the beach? Oh no, Yoshi, I don't care how far. I'll Uber the damn thing. Like, that's not the issue. I'm not gonna walk. I'll just Uber there, but it just has to be relatively close. Okay. Sounds like a date. Okay. Bus to Philadelphia home from Philly. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So when I booked my flight, that was the only option, because Atlantic City, I don't know, just didn't have anything. I mean, they had some direct flights, but they were an absolute nightmare. Absolute nightmare. Like, 2 to 3 layovers, 3, 4, 5 hour layovers. Like, there was really, the direct flight was ridiculous. Like, I have a direct flight on Monday or Sunday night. The direct flight on Sunday is at 12 midnight. And it's like a little over a 5-hour flight to get to Atlantic City. But I'm flying into Newark, and then Cove is going to pick me up, and then we're going to drive there together. So because it's only a 5-hour flight, but it's 3 hours ahead. So when I get there at 5, whatever, it'll be 8, whatever. So I'm going to lose some sleep. It's going to be kind of a hard day for me on Monday. Kind of a hard day. Is this real? Is this real? Anonymous gifter with another 2 subs. Is this real? Now I need to know who this anonymous gifter is. 20 gifted subs. 20 gifted subs. And 1,100 bits. Thank you, guys. Honestly, I appreciate every little bit. Anonymous gifter, thank you so much. I appreciate you. God, that's like COVID levels. I just had like COVID levels of hype train. That never happens. So thank you, honestly. And if I see you at Expo, make sure you show me your name. Okay, let's see here. That's what upgrades are for, so you can lay flat. Okay, here's the problem with upgrades. And I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree. I love upgrades. But I can only upgrade when the money is right. And if it's coming out of my pocket, there will be no upgrades. I'm just gonna just suck it up. Sorry. That's just where we are. But I don't disagree with you. We'll see. I mean, I did the upgrade for the extra leg room. I got that. That's about it. But maybe when I get there, things will change. Maybe I'll look and say, hey, what is your upgrades? What are your upgrades? Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I've done 5 hours in literally coach before, and I've been fine. It's 5 hours. Honestly, you just get on the plane, you take an edible, and then you're good for the entire trip. That's my class upgrade. 1 edible. I'm good. Try it. Trust me, it works. Okay. Let's let's see. What are we? 1138, 1136. Okay. Now we need a Rain 2 soon with the Rain 70 mixer in the middle and small screen. So you're saying you want a Rev7? I'm just saying. That's what you're describing. Maybe it'll come. Maybe it won't. I have no idea. In all honesty, in music, specifically Rain, has been exceptionally silent for whatever reason. So I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe we'll see something at Expo. I have no idea. But I think the Rev7 showed other companies what they could do. Why is the Rev7 still so hard to find? Well, that's an easy answer. Demand, production, shipping. Everything is slow right now. I mean, honestly, don't even look at the Rev7. Look at other DJ equipment. Go try to buy some speakers. Tell me how long that takes. You know, go buy a new JMAZ light. Tell me how long that takes. You know, everything is just slower right now. It's just slower. DJ07 services Pioneer DJ is the best. It's definitely a very, very good one. Not to brag, but I just got my Rev7 for $1,600. Good for you. My GC Pro dude hooked it up. Dope. Okay. They're coming out with 9-inch spinning platters like the Denon DJ. Where'd it go? DJ Pinky, love this group. Have a great week. Hey, good to see you too, girl. We got to figure out a time. I want to come see you. I saw you were at the spot. Last weekend? I want to see everybody I've never seen before. And I've seen Pinky. I'm not talking about like physically seeing Pinky, but like I've never seen a lot of people DJ like Pinky and like Drew Pierce. Like Drew Pierce does a lot of Long Beach stuff. I only have a certain amount of days where I'm like not working. Like this is my dead time for the next, well, technically now it's 3 weeks, because right after I'm done with the Expo, we start working again. You know, Bar Mitzvah season kicks back up. So this is the first couple of weeks where I can do stuff. So I want to see everybody DJ and come hang out, because I didn't get the opportunity before. I've just been so swamped. Okay. Has anyone had issues with Serato with the new Mac date, like not reading your hard drives? I have not had that issue, DJ07. Okay, let's see here. Which MacBook laptop are you talking about that's good for outside? Sorry for the double ping. I would go with an M1 MacBook, specifically a MacBook Pro with fans. So the 14 or the 16. The 16 is even better with heat dissipation than the 14 is. So if you have like a 14 with an M1 Pro, not the Max. I don't think you need the Max. I don't think anybody needs the Max. I barely think anybody needs the Pro unless you're doing like a lot of video work and things like that. But in general, the 16 is going to be the best at heat dissipation. As a matter of fact, it never seems to get hot, like ever. So and the battery lasts forever on the 16. 14 is good. Like I can DJ an entire party without plugging in my laptop with the 14, assuming I'm not powering any type of devices. I can get through the whole thing. So I love my MacBook 14. Love it. Just look, what's sticking out of this thing right now? SD card. You know why? Because I'm editing video, and sometimes I need to plug in an SD card. And I mean, you know, people are like, you don't need an SD card. You'll just use an adapter or whatever. I use this SD card more now than I ever did with my adapter, and I mean that. The SD card is used every day. It's so much easier to edit stuff, so much easier to do work. I was pissed off when I took the SD card away. Now I know that it was justified. Totally justified. And the HDMI out. I use the HDMI out all the time. More importantly, it's not so much that the HDMI out didn't work before, but you get fears. You know what I mean? Like when you're out and you're like, oh my God, I need my HD. I have to plug in HDMI. Did I bring my adapter? That adapter mentality is what screws you up, you know, and leaves you in a panic mode. So the HDMI out and the SD card, best things that Apple could have done. And I know they were on there before. Best things. That is a 2 terabyte MacBook Pro. 2 terabyte MacBook Pro, 10 core M1 Pro, not Max, 32 gigs of RAM. Great stuff. Great stuff. Okay. All right. And I know Yoshi's on my same boat because Yoshi's a photographer too, and you just you need it. Like because of that, I've been able to use my A7 IV a lot more for like my reels and things that I would have never done in the past. You know, it would have just taken too much time. Oh, I gotta put the adapter on, or I gotta find the cord, and you know, now I have to wait for the long transfer speeds, even though it's USB-C, it's still taking forever because the camera is taking forever. Nope, not anymore. Just pop the slot out. I'm good. Good. Okay. I know there was a question up here. Real DJ Yoshi with the 23 months of support. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. All right, let's see if there's any more questions. We got 17 more minutes. I have a pair of K12.2s in the shop now. It's been 3 weeks and they're still waiting on replacements. Yeah, no. Every single piece of equipment we've sent in has taken at least a month to get back now. Every single piece. Every piece. So if you need something, like get it done now before we start getting into like heavy, whatever season you're in. You could be in your busy season right now. I don't know. Okay. Car dealerships are so empty. Yeah, they're very sad to look at, the car dealerships. Like super sad. They're now booking space for weddings. Oh my God. I just prefer the rain, platter, and power source over the Rev7. I get that. Completely understand. You know, I know the power source is a big deal for a lot of people. I haven't had any problems with using either the Rev7 platters or the Rain 1 platters, like at all. But I will take a S7 middle over a Rain 1 middle any day of the week, and even Rain 2 with internal effects. Maybe we'll see. We'll see. I know people are out here spitting what they're going to come out with, and they might. Either way, I'm on an NDA, so even if I knew something, I couldn't say anything. So I will always have this look of astonishment. Huh, maybe. Okay. All right, let's see here. Did I answer all my questions? Oh, Yoshi, thank you. All right. Okay. I think I'm up to date here. Sweet. Let's go to the bottom. I try to stay away from hubs if possible. Always cause a slowdown. Are you sure, Mixmaster JNL? You don't want external partition on an external drive with a hub, a non-powered hub with the USB-B to USB-C adapter with the small little adapter that plugs in? I don't know. Kind of sounds like something you'd like. I kid. In the middle of doing a major 10-day sporting event, and I know an Intel MacBook wouldn't have survived the heat the M1 MacBook is slaying right now. I agree. I keep a temperature gauge on my computer, and if you guys were wondering which one works really well, what am I using here? I'm using what is it called? TG Pro. Yeah, TG Pro. And TG Pro is really, really good because it breaks down all of the pieces where you would have heat. I mean, look, it's hard to show you. I didn't bring my thing, so I'm not going to show you. But either way, let me see if I can get this. All right. All right. There we go. Get it balanced out here. So it shows you literally everything, all the way down to like your palm rest. Like that's super impressive. And then it keeps a little applet in the top and shows you what your current temperature is. So mine right now is sitting at 47 degrees Celsius. 47 degrees Celsius with the fans off. It tells you when the fans go on and everything. The funny thing is, I've only had my fans come on twice since I've owned this, and I got this. When did I get this? I got it in, I think, late March or early April. My fans have come on twice because they caught me off guard when they came on. Because I'm like, what the hell? I hadn't heard my fans. Now, keep in mind, if you're using an Intel, fans just come on all the time. It's just what they do. You turn on your computer, you open up anything, and it's like, 500 revolution fans kicking in. My fans haven't kicked in. It kicked in twice. And both times I was running a non-optimized piece of software, and the fans kicked up. My computer idles around 42 to 45 degrees. And when it's running at its hottest, like when it's pushing like Serato, I don't go over 60, 69 degrees Celsius ever. So yeah, the one time I ran an unoptimized thing, I saw my temperature kick up to like 100 degrees, and then my fans kicked in, and it was back to like 70. So, and the 16s run even cooler. Now, I want to keep this in perspective because the fans at 48 degrees Celsius, 42 degrees Celsius actually, with the fans off, when it runs at its hottest point, and that's typically around 69 degrees Celsius, that's what the Intel MacBooks idle at, around 70 degrees Celsius. When they kick on, and that's with fans on, 70 degrees Celsius. When they kick on, well, yeah, Mike, they're always hotter. Always. This is the standard. Don't think about Fahrenheit in processors. Chips get really, really hot. Like hot to touch. But that's actually really, really cool. Even though and if you say Fahrenheit, it shifts up. Now, I want you to keep that in mind because you're saying that's 104 to 116 at 47 degrees. Now, on an Intel Mac, they run 70 degrees Celsius, typically idle. And when you're really running them, they get up to about 100, 105 degrees Celsius before the fans bring them down to like 90. That's why they have problems. That's why they sputter and stall and give you problems when you're DJing outside. That's the number one reason. So, I'm never going back. Okay. What is your recommended configuration? Do you recommend the flush transit SD cards for additional storage? I actually use well, it depends. I mean, I don't use SD cards for storage. Like I don't use them like to back up my stuff. That would be a waste. Get a USB card. Get yourself a Western Digital, hard drive. You can get like I have multiple hard drives for my backup. I use a Western Digital, spinning drive. I also have SSDs that I use for when I'm editing any video, and these cards all come out of my cameras. Okay, so I have, two cards for my A7 IV, one card for my Lumix G9, one card for this one, and one card for my my Mixcast 4. And then what I do is after I record all my stuff, I pull them all out, I pull them all into a folder, and then I run in Final Cut either a synchronized audio or a multicam synchronize, and then I can do all my videos. But yeah, this is a 256 gigabyte. I have two of these running at 250 megabytes a second, which is still not the top speed for the A7 IV. But I don't run that high as far as like shooting raw or any of that stuff. So it wasn't necessary. Okay. Yeah, don't need the express cards. Don't need them at all. I don't run my configurations that high. Are you aware of any collapsible totems? Do they exist? They actually do exist. Who makes them? The guys that make the cases. Pro. Why can't I think of their name right now? I can't think of their name. Anyway, they do make them. What I've only seen one company that does them. As a matter of fact, I think Rachel, DJ Rachel did a video on one of them. The same company that makes them. So maybe Google DJ Rachel and trusses. Okay. And Lou Diamonds is saying Odyssey. San Diego check-in from the real DJ King. What is going on? Okay, not Rockville. No. Pro X. Thank you, T Diesel. Pro X. Yes, I was just looking at my Pro Grade SD card and it just threw me for a loop. Okay. If you were on Intel i9 or i7 MacBook Pro, if you're on M1 Pro, M1 MacBook, it is quiet. It's dead silent. Dead silent. My fans never come on, and I'm rocking, like I said, multiple streams, 4K, editing. The fans don't come on. And Rock Audio makes collapsible totems. Well, there you go. So check in the chat. There seems to be a lot of options here. Would you ever show your music folders with younger DJs? I don't like to, but I'm open for opinions. I don't share my music folders, period. Music folders is relative, but no. I mean, I can't think of any. I've shared my music folders one time. I shared them with my son. When he got his MacBook, I literally just I just copied my music folder and put it onto his computer, and then he's been DJing. Funny thing is, he got a little bit of a bump up when he was DJing. People were like, wow, he's really good. I'm like, well, yeah, he's using my playlist that I spent years adjusting. I know everything in there is good. So yes, he's going to sound good. I just laugh it off. It's funny. They're like, he's better than you. I'm like, well, I mean, okay. Because I don't play my playlist. I don't play that stuff when I DJ like on Twitch. I play what I want to play on Twitch. He plays my playlist. So it's a little different. Okay. All right. Tell her I said hello. Okay. Last couple. Can you get a V90 card relatively cheap so you can go 10-bit? This is a V90. Oh, it's a V60. So the V60s were God. The Pro Grade V60s were, I think, like 130. But you can do 422 10-bit with the V60. You can't do 422. There's another one in there, but I can do 422 10-bit with 60s. I did see that. Okay. All right, let's see a couple more, and then I'm gonna get out of here. Let's see if we have. Oh, come on, stop. What is your recommended configuration? I already read that. Okay. All right. All right. I'm somewhat new to DJing and have about 20 gigs of my own music. The rest I stream from Tidal. Where do you suggest I purchase or download my music from? Well, I mean, there's many places. BPM Supreme, DJ City, Direct Music Services, Headliner Music Club, iTunes, Amazon Music, Google Music, BeatSource. I mean, they're out there. It just depends on how much music you download. And I know people are always like, oh, well, I have 10 music subscriptions. And I always think, okay, do you need all of them? Because if every music subscription costs, 10 to $30, and I know they're all write-offs. We write off ours too. If you're doing the math, that's like $300 a month. So if you are if you would be spending $300 a month on music, then it's valid. Basically, you have to take what you would normally spend on new music. So are you down? So let's just say, for instance, you have one. Let's say you have one. So one, you're paying $30 a month. Okay. You need to make sure that you're at least downloading, 15 new songs, give or take 15 to 20 new songs every month for it to be of value. If you're only downloading 4 or 5 songs, you're better off just buying the songs and then just doing your own edits. Unless you're looking for remixes and all those things, which is a completely different story. But, I think a lot of people get on these music streams or these music subscriptions because everybody else is doing it and they don't even buy any music and they don't download any music, and it's just a waste of money. So it just depends. Okay. All right. Okay, I see what you're saying, Yoshi. Yeah, I've been fine with 420. The reason why, 422, I don't do color grading. I don't do a lot of color grading, so 422 to me just seems overkill. My 422 I used to go 1080p 422 on my Lumix. I always had a good picture, and but 420 on Sony's is really, really good, and it doesn't get hot. And sorry. I don't typically record in 4K 60 ever, for a couple of reasons. One, the 30-minute time limit, and two, because it does put a lot of stress on the A7 IV. So I shoot 4K 24 420, so I could do 422 because I'm only doing 24. I do have a setting for 4K 60. I rarely use it. In all honesty, I'd rather use the 1080p 120 when I'm doing all my slow-mo stuff. The quality is just as good, especially going to YouTube. Okay. All right. A couple more, then we got to get out of here. BDJ Pete asks, he doesn't ask that. Where did it go? For more cinematic. Exactly, Mike. Okay. I stopped downloading so much music because I was getting brain freeze. When you download too much music, you think it's hot, you're like, download, and then you end up not knowing what the hell to play. So I'm very, very particular about what I download now, and it has to work for what I use it for. And if I'm not using it, a lot of stuff I've been getting rid of. I didn't get rid of. The only thing I didn't get rid of, like a lot of that old hip hop that I know I never play, nobody ever asked for, I've been deleting. Unless it's like a classic that's kind of near and dear to my heart that I know I love. But if it's something that I downloaded because I thought it was going to be cool and it never picked up, like I delete that stuff now. I keep the country because I don't know, for whatever reason, anytime I fall into a pit and people are like, oh, I need this country, this old song, I always tend to have it. Never play it, but I always have it. But I'm not that person that keeps every single song I've ever downloaded. Screw that. That's why they make BeatSource. That's why they make Tidal. So in a pinch, you can pull that song that you never play, and now it's off your hard drive. I'm all about the space. I'm trying, currently, my hard drive with video and audio is around, you know what? Let me tell you. What's it at right now? I did download a lot of stuff for this Mexican wedding that I did. But, okay. DJ music. All right. My DJ music folder, specifically, is at 172 gigs. 172. And I know for a fact that out of that 172, there's probably 60 gigs that I don't need. Guaranteed. So I'm trying to streamline. Okay. All right. Do you still use Crate Hackers? I do. I use Crate Hackers differently than other people. Because I know a lot of people will literally just take the Crate Hackers thing and go. The thing about Crate Hackers is, not all of the songs are in each folder. So I don't believe in having multiple folders that are the same thing. So what I do is I kind of use it as reference where I take it and then I make my playlist out of it. I just start dragging and dropping, into a folder. Because let's say, you got hip hop 90s. They'll have like hip hop 90s 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not gonna do that. That's silly. And I know they break it out by like mixable music. I don't care about that. I've been DJing long enough. That's not the issue. So I just go into each folder, and then as you go into Crate Hackers and you go into their folders, and let's say you go into their playlist, it's reading your computer. So it'll say, okay, I don't know. Let's just say if like Rum Shaker was one, early 90s, Rum Shaker's R&B. Okay. It would have Rum Shaker, and then it would list all of your versions of Rum Shaker. And then you can kind of check off which ones you want, and then it'll export that playlist to be used in whatever you're using. I don't go that way. I go the opposite. So I look at there and I say, oh, what is it? And then I just kind of drag and drop. Because sometimes there's a song that Crate Hackers, there's a song that might pop up, because let's say if it takes Rum Shaker, maybe it pulls in, Make Love Tonight or whatever. One of those songs just kind of pops up. That song's still valuable. They may not think that it works, but like for me, I might believe that it works. So I'll just do my own folders. So yes, but I do use Crate Hackers all the time. Okay. I do wish Tidal would allow me to store my music in Mixstream Pro like they allow on tablets. Yeah, agreed. Maybe it'll come, maybe it won't. But I think if Tidal actually had device downloading on your computer, a lot of people would probably choose that one over BeatSource. And the only reason why I will say this, and I love BeatSource, so I'm not taking it away, and they're the only ones with like actual, intros and outros. The one thing, because I use Soundees to like move playlist over so I can have them ready. So if a client gives me their playlist, I use Soundees and I convert it over to either Tidal or BeatSource. I typically convert them to both. And what I've experienced is, for whatever reason, and this could be from a Spotify playlist, okay? So Spotify playlist, they send it to me, I convert it. If I convert it to Tidal, usually, if there's going to be an error, there's like one song, maybe one song that Spotify has that Tidal doesn't. What I've experienced on BeatSource is there's a higher error rate. So, let's say if there's 30 songs, there may be 5 of the songs that that BeatSource doesn't have. So you're kind of forced to use both. But if Tidal had downloading, I don't know. You run for the money. Okay. Last one. Let's see if this is a good one. Okay. Do you go 180 degree shutter? 24. No, I don't even mess with that. I don't mess with shutter. I do shutter. I do 24 and 50 FPS. Okay. All right. I think that's it, guys. I think that's it. Quick one. Do you advise using a Y cable on each sub and sending a single channel to each cable to utilize both inputs? I don't know why you would need a Y cable, PDJ Pete, because if you're going out of your mixer or controller via the XLR outs and you're running them into your subs, pretty much every sub should have a through. So then you would take the XLR and go through to your other speaker. Or if you're going Y cable, it sounds to me like you're going mono. So if you're going mono, go the other route. Go XLR out from like one channel on your device, and then obviously flip it to mono. Make sure you have mono set either in your DJ program or your hardware. Have it go to the one sub or high, drop down, and then go out of the through into the other speaker on the other side. Now you're running mono. You don't need a Y cable for any of that stuff, in my opinion. Okay. All right, I think I've answered everything. What are your thoughts on the Chauvet flex stands? I haven't answered everything. One more. They look pretty awesome. I'm going to tell you this right now. Okay. This hat is not working today. I'm going to tell you this. The Chauvet flex stand, I wasn't going to do a video on it, but I think I am now. The Chauvet flex stand is probably one of the best things that Chauvet makes. And that is not a joke. That is me being absolutely serious. One of the best things that they make. I have used the flex stand in the past couple of months for so many different things. Let's see here. I've used it so much, I'm going to buy a couple more. That's how much I like the flex stand. So the first thing is, if you're using a gig bar or a JMass VersaFlex, right? And typically the gig bar is behind you. With a tripod pole, like if you're using the Chauvet pole, you got legs, and now the legs are coming forward. And if you're anything like me, I cannot DJ when anything is either by my feet, under my feet, around my feet. It needs to be a clean area. I cannot stand tripods for the gig bar or the VersaFlex. So I've been using the stand, the Chauvet flex stand, for that because it's just a weighted base and it can sit behind me. I don't have any issues. It can be super close. Before I had to be farther away because you needed that space. Now I don't have to worry about that. That is amazing. Saturday I did a wedding, and because there was a band, I had to bring my own speakers, and they had their speakers because they were breaking down. There was absolutely no way for me to put a tripod pole down and have it look clean because they had their speakers, they had some KSCs, QSCs, and they were going out of the base, screwed in nice and clean. Meanwhile, I have like tripod poles, so that looked like crap. So what I did was, instead of using my light, because there was no place for it anyway, I used my flex for my SRX 15s. And those things are not light. And it held on just fine. So, and also I've used the VersaFlex, the flex stand for Gobos too. Like if I need to put it somewhere and I need to get out of the way because the plate has multiple bases, and then you can screw the plate into the corner because there's holes in every part of the plate. So you can throw it in the corner and then you can slide it into the corner. So convenient. Best thing Chauvet makes is something that doesn't require any power. I swear to you, Chauvet really thinks I hate them. I guarantee you. Okay. All right, let's see here. All right, I think we're good here. I think we're good. So, too bad those flex stands are US only. Finally, we get something better than you ponders. I kid not. Anyway, so let's see what we got going on here. I haven't even been on Twitch to see who's on. Let's see. Remember, in about 30 minutes, guys, I will be posting my JMass VersaFlex review. They are pricey. They're like I think they're around $300, give or take. But here's the thing about it. Here's the thing about it. If you were to buy, especially for the SRXs, because they're super heavy. So if you were to buy the JBL gas powered tripods, which I own several of them. If you were to buy those are I think around $200 per. So yeah, it's a little more expensive, but the flexibility, hence the name, the flexibility is unheard of. So I'm flex stand all day. I told my partner after I used it this weekend for the speaker itself, and I'm like, so I pretty much need, because I use the 828s, okay? I use the JBL 828, which is one big ass sub. So unless I decide to go get unless I decide to break them off or, go baseballs or something like that, I am limited in what I can use. I'm kind of forced to use tripods. I don't have to with the VersaFlex, and it just looks clean. It just looks So clean. So I'll probably end up with that one. Anyway, that's just my opinion though. My opinion. I still need to get the Bass Boss. I had a video on Bass Boss, but then when I checked the audio, it was so crappy that I couldn't even post it. So I'm gonna have to call them directly again and see if I can get. I want to try out those 12s. And see. Anyway, all right, guys. You can go ahead and raid. We can raid DJ Unique. Moderators, if you can set that raid up, that would be great. And for everybody else, it's been a great day. So I got two videos coming out today and tomorrow. I know my videos have been sparse because I've been traveling so much, but tomorrow, today, JMass, tomorrow, DJ Carlo podcast. So it's like 50 minutes long. I think it's a great video. I think it's great. We did a guerrilla style at Sweetwater Gear Fest at the Shure booth, and Shure took care of us. So appreciate that. Two of those, and then next week I have obviously more coming out. So anyway, thank you guys for hanging out today. I obviously always appreciate you. We're going to start this raid now because I do have stuff to do. Enjoy your day. Make sure you watch the video. See you soon. Peace out. Why it's raiding? Which one? It says leave. I don't want to leave. I want to raid. Wonder why I'm not being able to initiate my own raid. Guess we'll have to wait for it. Here's a beat. That's all I got. Actually, here, while we wait,
de-energizers.
Coming right up. I'm sorry, did you say 20 C Energizer batteries?
D, not C, D.
D, not C.
D, D! Learn to speak English first, all right? D!
Look, wait, hold up. I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure I was giving you the right batteries. Wait, hold up. You're not buying it for that ghetto blaster, are you? Come on, man.